Hello everybody, I'm Ard, and welcome to another episode of Minecraft Enigmatica 2 Expert. Given that I'm wearing a suit of dragon mail armor, I think it's safe to say I'm going to go through with my promise, and that there will be dragons this episode. That said, beware, this is kind of a monkey's paw sort of situation, because at the point of the gear that I'm at, and with the weapons that I'm at, and the fact that dragons have griefing turned off in this pack and can't break blocks, fighting dragons is not actually all that interesting. So, that's unfortunate. But here we go. Alright folks, so before we go hunt down a couple of the higher tier dragons underground, and I happen to know where a couple of their nests are, let's talk about a couple things we need to make first to really handle the situation we're walking into. I'm not too worried about the damage they can output, but the caves are dark and I don't want to have to deal with night vision potions, so one of the things we're going to make is the vision helmet from Cyclic, which is really simple if you have access to glowstone and a couple pieces of amber. That's that, and it just gives you night vision all the time. Pretty great. The next thing we're going to make is something they call out really early in the quest book. Right here in the Getting Started branch, there's the scanning section, which is to make the scanner. It tells you to use this to find like the nuclear trapped veins, but there's a very, very good use for this for dragons specifically. And to make the scanner isn't all that hard. It's just, really basic materials, iron, gold, nether quartz, and redstone, all easy things you get. And then we need these blank scanner modules as well, which are just green dye, clay, and really easy things to make. Again, this is why we built cactuses, so we can make green dye. And then from there, we make a scanner block module, which is just stone and that. So all really, really easy things to do. Now, the scanner, if you shift right click it, opens up an interface to add the modules to it. So we put this in here, and we can right click that on a block to start scanning for the block. And what do we want to use it for? Well, I've got it slaved to an oak chest. And if we right click it, you see that it scans, and now all of a sudden the chest above us is glowing, as well as the chests over there, and any others that are in range. I think those are all that are. How is this useful for us? Well, I'll show you in a little bit here. Well, here it is. You just right click and use it. We're way underground. I heard a dragon screaming, and there's some chests. So now we just have to go punch into that room and go punch the dragon in its face. And there's the entrance. So I think we're about ready to go do this. Get up above everything that's shooting at me, and let's go start shooting the dragon. Alright, that was easy. Now we just have to clean up all the mobs and light up the whole place so they stop spawning while we loot all the tasty treasure. So give me a little bit to get this straightened out. Alright, so let's find out what we got. Oh, it's a stage 5 male, so no egg. But there will be plenty of loot. And here we go, folks. This is the Californium I was looking for earlier, so now I can make an RTG out of this. Well, I think I got everything. For being a tier 5 dragon, they sure aren't all that dangerous when they can't break blocks and don't have griefing turned on. So kind of sat there and died. Even when they can fight me, I'm pretty much too strong now for them to even stop. So, fun times. And this one right here that's glitching out is the one that ate me back in the first episode. Time for some payback. Never did find this guy's lair, although it looks like maybe it's below me. And now that we got our payback, it looks like there's another underground dragon directly below us. We just charge this up, and there's a whole bunch of chests. We're about to punch into the room, and let's go kill this one too, I guess. Well, that one at least tried to kill me, so that's I guess now we see if there's anything in here. And another male dragon. And I just picked up the thing I meant to show you guys not to pick up, so I'm gonna die here. And then we'll go back and have a talk about what just happened. Okay, so there's the item that killed me on the ground still. This is why you don't ever open up these chests, just blindly and grab everything, unless you're wearing a hazmat suit, because that white dot down there is still killing me. Why is it killing me? Well, that's plutonium. Okay, I have no official idea why I died that time, unless I'm missing a piece of the hazmat suit somehow. And I don't appear to be wearing boots, so that's probably what it was. Oh, there it is, the rubber boots that I do not have. Now I feel like an idiot. Alright, hopefully no more mishaps this time. Let's clear this place out. And that would have caught me right again, right there. There's more plutonium. And another Californium for an RTG, so we just have to have the means to make them now. I always do find it a bit amusing that these dragon lairs are actually more dangerous than the dragons themselves, just due to the presence of the plutonium. So to spare you guys some time, I killed a few more dragons off camera, you know, and they were every bit as enthralling as the first couple were. It was just mostly just overworld ones, the stage 1 and 2 ones that I knew the positions of. Didn't really get anything other than that. Interestingly, I think I got another one of the Californiums for nuclear craft. Yeah, like if we look in here, you can see that I've got 3 of them now, so I can make 3 RTGs once I've got the means to make it. But it requires advanced plating, which requires tough alloy, which we can make the hard way using the alloy furnace, but then we've got to go through the whole chain. We need lithium stuff. We need lithium, and then we need ferroborn alloy, which is just another alloy type. It's not that hard to do, and I think I have all the materials for it, and maybe I'll make it. But like the easy way is actually to build a mob farm and build an arc furnace and have those melt down some of the armor that drops, which does turn into the tough alloy we need for free, effectively. But we'd have to do that. And I'm probably going to do that next episode, not this one, though. And, you know, I also got enough plutonium to kill myself 3 or 4 times over. So I've at least dumped the hazmat suit in here to remind me not to touch this. But, you know, accidents might happen. I've already proved pretty stupid twice now, so. Alright, so now that we're done murdering small, defenseless little animals, I guess the question is, what are we doing for the rest of this episode? And I think we're going to go tackle one of the things I mentioned previously, the power problem. And, you know, if you look online, everyone tells you just make ethylene and make a mechanism, or make an advanced generator that uses it. And, you know, I'll probably do that eventually, but I'd rather go muck with things that I don't know will work at all. And one of the things I haven't spent much time with over the years is immersive engineering, especially the larger multi-block structures. So I figure, let's go make use of that tree farm we did and all of those olives. Now, to go about doing this, I actually had to open up a bunch of stuff in the quest book. So if we come into the Immersive Engineering section of the quest book, you can see I've got a whole bunch of stuff finished because I want to make the projector, and we need all of these different types of blocks to create the multi-block structures. So it was all of these blocks, and most of them are pretty easy to make. Like the light engineering block is just aluminum scaffolding, which, as I showed you with my villagers, I can just buy, and then bronze and Rochelle, which we've already done. The hardest thing here was probably the heavy engineering block, which requires uranium plates, which, again, super easy to make. You just smelt down uranium to do it. But it's just something I didn't have ready. And then a steel scaffolding, which, again, we can just buy those. Super easy. And it got me around to making reinforced alloys, too, which I hadn't been doing previously. But, again, that's just a normal Rochelle with some diamonds, which we can now easily get. So I got all of these different types of blocks together, and I've got enough for everything to make all 3 of the structures. Alright, so I'm back down here in the basement behind my storage room, under where I had the coke furnaces and whatnot. And I just hollowed out a little space to put all the machines in, because I haven't made any of these before. This is all actually new to me. I've been staring at these things for years and I just never bothered making them. So it's trying to get out of ruts, but as such, I don't actually know what I'm doing. I'm kind of experimenting, kind of playing by the seat of my pants here. So I figured we just build them down here, see how it all works, see if we need to shove it into a comic machine later or not. But right now we're just leaving it where I can easily hook up power and get items out of the drawers, because everything gets piped out here anyways. And we'll see how it all works and how much power I'm actually getting out of it. It should be a pretty interesting day, for me at least. And the first step is to open up the engineer's manual to the page that we want, and you can see how all of the blocks are laid out here. Go over the question mark and it shows you the full list, shows you that we have all of them in our inventory. And then what we do is we close the book and then use this projector that we got out of Immersive Petroleum. You grab that and you combine it with the engineer's manual that had been opened up to the page of the machine you want, and you just craft it. We pull that back out, pull these out, and now you see I've got a fancy little camera thingy. So what we do with this is we, just bring it over to where we want it to be. You can click the middle mouse button to rotate it, and you just need to position it where you want it to be. So in our case, we want it one away from the wall in a corner so we can all easily walk around it. We want the red block facing out towards us, because that's the power block and the control mechanism, and faces most of the inputs the way we need it to be. And then we just right click to place it, and it strips off all of the extra layers. No, this is actually one block in the wrong position. So to fix that, we just put this back in here with the book, recraft it to get rid of the positioning on it. And there it is again. And this time, let's try to make sure I'm in the right spot. There we go. Okay, and then it strips off the upper layers, and you can see that it only shows the current bottom layer and what we need to place in here. As we build up, as we fill up this layer, it will put the next layer on and the next layer as we go. And so let me get this filled in and I'll show you what it looks like at the end. Okay, and as you can see, once we get everything filled in, the box turns green to show you that you have everything placed correctly. The next step is to hit a specific block in the build with the engineering hammer. The book will tell you where. In this case, it's the center cauldron. And the side of the cauldron you hit matters. So if I right click this, it does nothing. But if I do it from the front, all of a sudden, we now have an industrial fermenter. So our next step is to build the industrial squeezer. So we just lay this out the exact same way as before, using the projector, all of the exact same steps, and let me get that placed. All right, and now we've got the squeezer done too. So our next step, and our last step, is to make the refinery. This one's a much bigger space hog. It's a 5x3, so it's a bit bigger. And that's why we also want to put it at the end of the chain here, because we want to be able to put an energy block in. We want to pipe this out into a compression dynamo and then use the energy from the dynamo to power these machines and then fill up an energy cube. But we need to bootstrap this all to get it started. So let me build this as well, and then we can get this all wired up. All right, and now we've got the refinery set up as well. You connect all of the power up to these blocks right here. You can connect to the top or the sides, doesn't really matter. The orange boxes are the outputs, and the blue ones are the inputs. So let me get all of these connected together, and let's see if we can get this thing started. Alright folks, so this took quite a bit, but I made a huge mess. So you can see coming out of the slave right here, there's an input pipe, creeps around to the back, dumps it into here, and into here. So we load this up with a whole bunch of olives to make ethanol, and we load this up with a bunch of seeds to make plant oil. And out of these, there comes out a pipe here, creeps around all the way to the other side over here, and this one creeps out of here and goes over to here. And inside this, these combine together to make biodiesel. And you notice that this is not being used up right now, so we have either enough built up in this, or none of these seem to be creeping down, so this appears to be keeping up with demand from the compression dynamo. It's significant because the compression dynamo has been upgraded to the reinforced status, which requires electrum and silver, which isn't hard to do, but hardened glass, which I can't currently make, because this requires an induction smelter, which we should probably hurry up and try to make, because it's not hard to make them, but I just can't do it yet. Thankfully, I already had some hard glass from a loot box a while back, so we were able to make this, and this matters because we were outputting a ridiculous amount of power. It's actually doing less because it's filling up, but it was up around close to like 3,000. And it's because we have that upgraded to the reinforced tier combined with these to increase output. So we have just massively dumped a ton of power into the system. And it's filling up this upgraded mechanism cube that is completely maxed out at 12.8 million. So, job well done. And it's probably not even hitting our inventory because we're maxed out on olives and we're maxed out on seeds. So, big clunky mess. I probably can't easily throw it into a compact machine just due to the sprawl. But a lot of power, and I probably should try to see how many dynamos it can actually feed. Now, I understand there's an advanced generators version that probably generates even more power, but I'm pretty happy with this for now. This is going to suit my power needs in the short term for quite a while, because that is a lot of power, people. Oh, and before I forget, there's a reason why this took me quite a bit to debug. It's because these two pipes were joined at one point, which, you know, dumped a bunch of plant oil into the system right here that I had to drain out of this pipe before the compression dynamo would start. It was just a massive amount of confusion on my part trying to figure out why the biodiesel wasn't draining into the compression dynamo. This was just staying empty. Before I forget, I'd like to thank my 2 MVPs for this project today. The guys I just went out and found shortly after going clearing out some dragons. These 2 electricians right here. Because the electricians are interesting because while they give this, more importantly, they give wire coils. And what do I need wire coils for, you might ask? Specifically these HV wire coils? Well, the HV wire coils can be fed in the atomic reconstructor for thermal foundation parts right here, really easy. Otherwise, these are kind of a pain in the butt to make. It requires silver and then a block of redstone otherwise, or I can just pay an emerald and chuck that into a laser and be done and make a huge batch of them without any real time consumption whatsoever. And they were also useful for making a couple other things that popped up during this as well. And the structural engineer over here came in every bit as useful as I thought he would because I needed a whole bunch of steel scaffolding to make those machines. If you're playing this mod pack, do not neglect kidnapping as a source of materials. I really can't understate how useful these guys were. Not even a little bit. So don't forget to go kidnap your local villagers. Alright, so as you might have noticed earlier, I have quite a few quests unlocked in the quest book. So let me go pick up all of these chests and then let's go open up and see if we got anything interesting today. Alright, so 11 chests and 2 advanced machine casings. Let's start going through them. Dragon's Breath, which, well, I was going to go kill the end dragon shortly anyways, so I guess that's a thing. A sleeping mat. Well, I've got a sleeping bag, so I can just junk that. More food, but it's top tier food, so more food. That's not top tier food, but I haven't eaten it. Lanterns, which are easy to make, so that's depressing. A scanner, which, well, I just made that. Another Tesla coil. Mending moss, so that's kind of like the mending enchant from vanilla Minecraft. Not the worst thing I could have, I suppose. Sturdy casing, which are easy to make. Transformer upgrades, which would have been nice if I hadn't already decided just to use universal cables. And a flux infused shield, which is not that great. So, kind of a disappointing day on the loot box front, but you know, that happens. Can't always get exciting things or useful things. Alright folks, so it's been kind of a productive day. We had a fun, killing a whole pile of dragons, as evidenced below me. And we, massively increased our power generation today. Not the humongous amounts that, like, ethylene produces, but it was still something I'd never gotten to play with before, and it was at least educational on that front. Still not entirely sold on the Immersive Engineering's footprint for making gigantic machines, especially in packs like this where you've got all the other smaller single block ones, but, it was at least new to me and I learned some things today. So, as always, I'm Ard. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.